The power of belief is a strong force. How we view our reality inevitably will shape it. If we believe something is true and put that energy into that outcome, it will come true. If we choose to believe something negative, then we get a negative output. But if we choose to believe something positive, then we get a positive output. It's a power to change the world around us. It's a power to make our situation what we want. It's a power of self-actualization. While that may sound like a very power of love, hope, and prayer thing, there is more to it than that. There is basis in psychology that shows we have more control over our situation than we think. Through our cognitive processes and how we control ourselves, we can control the way our life goes. So, through the course of this video, I want to explore how this influence over our situation is created, how it works, and how we as people can culture it and use it to better our own lives. Chapter 1. What are beliefs exactly? Every person has a set of beliefs, and it has nothing to do with religion, except for when it does. They vary from person to person. Even if two people have had similar lives, their beliefs may still be different. But in general, a belief system is our own individual set of opinions about everything. Relationships, ourselves, other people, the universe, anything to do with our experience of life. Our belief system comes from our experience of life as we learn and see the world. How we have perceived events and concepts go into our beliefs about them. These beliefs then serve as a sort of frame of reference. Whenever we are in the same situation again, our beliefs tell us what to expect. Mostly, it is our initial experience that shapes our belief. For example, our first relationship. It will serve as a blueprint for our next ones, and we will think whatever happened initially with that one partner, for example, a toxic situation, will happen with the next ones. This foundation can also form based on how strong we perceive the evidence to be, whether that is cognitive strength or emotional strength. We may logically understand the evidence to be reliable and an accurate representation of the core concept, or we may feel that something is reliable due to our heightened emotions as we receive the information. Either of these is enough to form a belief. These core beliefs can be very strong because we as people don't like to be wrong. Therefore, we will do a lot to protect the idea of our beliefs. When we see new information that may contradict the belief, we'll do all we can to dispute it, even if it is logical information. This can then lead to actions that are inappropriate or damaging for the situation and the people involved when this belief is active. At its core, belief is a form of perception. It is our own individual element and understanding over a given topic, and it can be extremely strong. Our beliefs make us who we are, so we don't like to have them disputed or changed, as it can feel like an attack on ourselves. Therefore, if these beliefs are negative, they can be destructive for our lives. But if we can make them something positive, then we can improve our lives. Chapter 2. Self-Actualization. Within psychology, self-actualization refers to a stage in the hierarchy of needs where the individual fully realizes their potential. In a way, this refers to the form of self-actualization in this video. But here, I'm talking about an ability to make our internal reality outward reality. How true is this? Well, if we want evidence for this form of self-actualization, we can look at how belief affects behavior. Imagine you're going in for an interview, or imagine there are two of you going. The first you has a negative belief around the situation. They believe they aren't going to get the job, that they are not competent, and there is no point to it. As a result, this you doesn't prepare. They believe they aren't going to get the job, so why waste the effort preparing? They go into the interview nervous, unpassionate, and without energy, because to them they know this isn't going to go well. Therefore, they feel all those feelings of failure already, before it even happens. And then there's the second you, who has a positive belief around the situation. They believe they will get the job, or at the least, that they have a chance. So this you does prepare, they see hope and have belief that the work is for something. Then they go into the interview confident, energetic, knowing and believing it's going to work out. Who is more likely to get the job? It's all about the psychology. Of course, we can't magically change our world, but we can change how we act, which in turn affects the world around us. It's not magic, it's action. One evidence for this idea, and something you may know already, is the placebo effect. In medical tests, the participants will be split into two groups, and both are given medicine. But one group will be given a pill that does nothing, usually a sugar pill. The obvious outcome of this is that only the group with the actual medicine would improve. But it has been seen that even the group who received no actual medicine would also improve. This is because participants believed they had received treatment and therefore would recover. So they did. Because of their expectation and the mind's influence over the body, they were willed into feeling better and enacting that belief. For a psychological basis to this, we have basic cognitive models, more specifically the computer analogy. This theory suggests a simple idea of how we as humans take in information, process it, and then produce an output in the form of our behavior. This makes the idea of self-actualization very possible. Our own internal mental processes contribute to output, and as belief is a major part of our cognitive processes, it therefore has to have an effect on the world around us. It isn't some form of thought and prayer. It's deliberate action that stems from your internal mentality, and it goes on to affect your situation. How it affects your situation is completely up to you and what you choose to make of your mind. Chapter 3: How to make this work for you. So, if we want to use this to our advantage, how do we go about it? How do we go about changing our beliefs into something constructive for our life? As with all good things, it isn't easy work. It takes a lot of building up and effort, but it is worth it. It's all about changing your thought patterns, which starts with changing your basic thoughts. Thoughts are the singular unit that make up your mind. It is the only form of input into your consciousness that you can control. So you have to put your focus into it. You have to consciously recognize your thought patterns and start to think in the opposite way. We do this through counterbalancing. When we have these initial negative thoughts, we immediately have to counter them. We have to argue with ourselves and think of an alternative. If we start to think we're not going to get the job, we have to say yes, we are. If we think we're not good enough, then we have to say yes, we fucking are. But sometimes we may not be able to come up with a positive, and that's okay. It happens and it's ordinary, but that doesn't mean we have to accept it. So, in moments like those, we have to simply say that we will try. No matter how dark the situation, we have to simply say that we will try and get ourselves into a better place. It goes beyond just your thoughts. Over time, as we accept destructive beliefs, especially ones about ourselves, they become subconscious and become ingrained into our actions, making it harder to tackle them, as we may not even notice it stems from a negative belief. For example, say you weren't to pass the interview. You may then automatically socially withdraw. You feel unworthy and not good enough. So you pull back from support and the people in your life, maybe without realizing it. These actions can then spiral and compound and worsen your well-being. So again, you have to confront and act on them. When you see yourself withdrawing or whatever behavior it is, do the opposite. Be able to think deeply and see what actions of yours stem from negative feelings rather than ideas of self-care and growth. It's about self-reflection and being able to see what behavioral and thought patterns stem from a negative place. Once you've recognized these, you then have to be active in confronting them and challenging what you say and do to yourself. It is hard and it is difficult, but above all, it is worth it and is a quick way to improve your mentality as well as your situation. Chapter 4: Conclusion. Our psychological belief is what will influence our situation, and we influence our psychological belief by reconstructing our simple thought patterns. We can influence our mindset and our core beliefs, and once these are shaped, it affects our behavior and therefore the situation around us. In essence, our thoughts can shape our reality. It is a power of self-actualization, and one that we can use to get the life we want. But it does take time and effort to do. It isn't easy, but it also isn't complex. It's just about putting your foot down and being able to will yourself into a more constructive and forward-thinking mindset. It's being able to hold yourself accountable for the negativity you feed your brain and focus your energy on getting rid of it. And when you do so, when you really put in the time, energy, and effort, you can start to change your world into how you want it. Have a blessed day.